Hello, everybody. I'm Dr. Wickham Simonds. I think we're live. Mr. Producer, we're live. Okay. All right. Welcome to our Facebook Live. Welcome to the Ask Me Anything Facebook Live. It's Monday, August the 10th. We're open. This is the Raleigh location of Dr. Simonds Metabolics and Weight Loss. We're on Fallsville News Road out near 540. And it is a warm summer day. And the good news is that we're still open in both locations and doing business, despite the fact that it's warm, despite the fact that we're in a pandemic, despite all of that stuff. We're glad you've joined us. We want to thank you for joining us. Today, we're going to be talking about getting restarted, and we want to thank you for all of the questions that you've submitted. And as always, these are great questions, and we enjoy having this conversation. I'm here with Michelle Kennedy, who all of you know. She is an outstanding nurse practitioner and America's greatest, in my opinion, in the field of obesity medicine. Hey, that's right. It reminds me of the golf tournament yesterday, the PGA golf tournament. You know, they weren't supposed to have any fans. But as they came up to the last hole, all the volunteers were gathered around clapping for the guy who was the winner. You know, I'm like, it almost sounded like a crowd. You know, I'm like, I thought there weren't supposed to be any fans. So anyway, that was our show producer, one of the two show producers, giving us a hand, creating some crowd noise there. So what do you think, Michelle? You want to start out with the first question?
Let's dive in. Thanks again, everyone, for your questions. I know 2 weeks ago we weren't able to be here live, so we did a rerun, which was great, but it's really great to be back live. So first question from Jill. Since COVID-19, I've gained 15 pounds and need some help. Will I be required to pay the first time fee? It's been a few years. So it sounds like Jill was a patient and stopped coming. And since COVID-19, like most everyone else, has gained some weight, has struggled through this period, being at home, maybe not working or working from home, having kids home, etc. So Jill, do not fret. We will welcome you back with open arms. And no, you do not have to pay the first time fee again. No one ever pays that more than once. And it's only the first time that they're here. After that, you are a regular follow-up appointment. So we will call it a restart if it's been a little while, just so we know we need a little bit more time with you. And we have some just like quick update forms, not the extensive packet that you have to fill out when you're first patient the first time, but we do have some update things. And no matter how long it's been, you always are able to come back and restart at the same follow-up fee as you always had before. So, that's right.
We're making it easy. We've been waiting for you to come back. There's no judgment. We're just we're trying to make this as easy as you can, as it can be. You know, this is a chronic problem, a chronic medical problem that needs to be addressed, and we're not going to make you jump through a bunch of hoops to get it taken care of. Okay, no. We if it's been a long time, we really like to see you back in the office. If it really hasn't been too long, we can even do virtual appointments, right? So
it's over the phone. You don't have to come in at all. We have a pharmacy on site that we can ship the medications to you from, or if you want to pick it up, we have curbside pickup where you can just call us in your parking lot. This is at either office. Do your visit over the phone, call us in your parking lot. We bring the medicine out to you and hand it to you, and then you're on your way. So we really do try to make it as convenient as possible. So come on back in, Jill, or anyone else out there who's struggling. You're always welcome back, no matter the time that it's been since you were last here.
Okay.
Let's move on.
Next, Lisa, right?
Lisa, yeah. Lisa says she's tried every diet except keto. Now, we've talked a lot about keto on these AMAs. So you can go back if you're interested in learning a lot more about keto. But she's tried everything but that because she's worried that if she falls off, she's going to quickly regain the weight. Is this true? Great question, Lisa. I think there's a common misconception with keto specifically, that if you do it and you're successful, then you're at more risk for regaining the weight back. However, any successful treatment program to help you lose weight, if it works while you're doing it, and then you stop doing it because this is a chronic condition, the weight will come back.
Yep, it's true. 90% of people who lose weight by any method end up gaining it back. And it's because they quit using the principles
Exactly.
that they used to lose weight. Mm-hmm. So it's not unique to keto.
No.
It's not unique to taking prescription diet medication or anything. I hear this all the time, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, I'm not taking those diet pills or whatever. My doctor told me that once I quit them, the weight will just come back. Mm-hmm. Well, you know, if you were into eating lots of donuts, and that was the cause of your weight gain, you quit eating the donuts and you lose weight, you go back to eating donuts, guess what happens? Weight goes back up. No matter what kind. You could have done the Weight Watchers diet, the Jenny Craig diet, the keto diet, the South Beach diet, any diet. You pick the lemonade diet, you know, whatever it is. And then you go back to doing what you were doing, get off the principles that cause you to lose weight, you gain the weight back. So it's not unique to keto.
No, it is not. And thank you for that question, Lisa. And thank you for everyone who's joining us today. Please send in your questions. We're talking all about restarting today. So you've had success, maybe you've fallen off, but you want to come back, and we are here to help. You want to move on to Dennis's question?
Yeah, Dennis. Dennis says, I hear a lot about appetite suppressants, both good and bad. What are some of the things I should be aware of as far as side effects? I like this question because, classically, the appetite suppressants, the older ones, kind of got this, they were like bystanders to a crime scene, over the years. And somehow they got lumped in as criminals, you see. And so people, both lay people and medical professionals alike, have these assumptions about them that are not true. So imagine you were down here at the local mall and the mall got robbed, and you're the guy who gives the eyewitness report to the police. And then in a matter of years, the story gets reported that you were the one who robbed the mall. This is the story on appetite suppressants, right? They were approved in the late 1950s by the Food and Drug Administration. They have now over 60 years of widespread safe use and continue to be used safely. But yet these fictitious notions persist about them. And this is a favorite topic of mine to lecture on at conferences and so forth. And so some of those notions are that they are addictive. Well, in over 60 years, we don't have a single case in the medical literature of that being reported.
That's correct.
That they cause heart attacks. Well, in 60 years, we don't have a single case of that being reported in the medical literature. So these are the kind of things. So those things, they cause you to lose weight, but as soon as you quit taking them, you gain the weight back. It goes back to the conversation we just had. So these have proven to be very safe and very effective. Now, no matter what medication you take, it's still a medication, right? So in this case, there are some minor side effects, I would say, that most people will experience. Things like dry mouth are common. Well, we ask you to drink a lot of water. And not such a bad thing, right? If it makes you drink water, that's good. If you don't drink enough water, I find that people get constipated easy. Okay, it's again a fixable problem. And then things like if you take it too late in the day, it causing insomnia. So paying attention to make sure and take it early in the day rather than later in the day. So those are kind of common. They're minor things. Most people overcome them just fine. 99% of our patients tolerate these just fine and really like them and find them very helpful. They're inexpensive. They work very quickly. You don't have to take them 3 weeks to kind of, figure out what exactly is going to happen.
20 minutes, you know what that medication is.
Bingo.
For you.
Right. So the most commonly prescribed one is Phentermine. Yes. It goes under the brand name Adipex, but there are also some alternatives that are shorter acting in their character, a little less potent, like Phentermine or diethylpropion. And these are things that we prescribe regularly here in the office. Okay. So And I would just say that, look, that they've proven over now almost 16 years of practice to be very, very successful in our patient population. So they're inexpensive and safe, and they've proven to be very helpful.
Yeah.
Okay?
And we are here to help. And
Yeah.
with the Phentermine that we mentioned, although the vast majority of patients do tolerate it, keep in mind that Dr. Simonds just mentioned, we do have what I call gentler options. So I have a lot of folks who are worried about restarting because they worry that Phentermine is the only option, and maybe they didn't sleep great with it, or maybe they didn't do well because they don't like water and so they had some headaches or their mouth was dry. If Phentermine is not the medication for you, that does not mean that we cannot help you. That is what we are here for, to find out what else is going to work with you and your side effects and your schedule and your needs. So don't let that stop you. If you did not like the way you felt or didn't tolerate it, we have other options. Do not worry. And keep in mind as well, although we are advocates of continuing medication and maintenance, because our most successful maintainers do continue some level of medication treatment in their long-term treatment program, that is also not a requirement. So it is not useful to say, well, if you're not going to take them forever, then don't take them at all, because we can figure out a way once you reach your goal to wean you down, have it be less frequent, a very slow, careful process, working with us here to try to see if there's a way to do a little less often, maybe none at all, or at least cycle through it. But keep in mind, if you are an individual who says, but I do want to take it. I love the way it helps me so much with my weight and my energy. I have people who are happier. They have less pain when they're being treated in our practice, and they're afraid to stop it. That is not something we are ever going to force you to do. As long as it is safe for you, you are tolerating it, it is working for you, we are happy to continue it long term. So they can be used shorter term, they can be used longer term, they can be used intermittently. So keep that in mind. These medications are not all or nothing. It's not black and white. There's a lot of gray, and that's exactly what we do here at Dr. Simonds Metabolics and Weight Loss is navigate you through that gray area when it comes to diet, when it comes to medications. So that was a really good question, because we get asked that a lot. Are these safe? Can I continue them? Do I need to continue them? And whether you're starting new or restarting, we'll help you with that.
That's right. Just say that, look, the dangers of obesity in the long term are very, very clear. And not doing something about it and bringing that under control is a mistake. And so we believe in helping you in this area. And so if you need long-term treatment with a medication to help you, we are going to be there to guide you through that process.
Absolutely. And if you have a medical provider outside of our practice who is sharing maybe misinformation or saying things to you that maybe you don't believe are factual, but you're not sure about the safety of the drugs, about the length of time it's safe to take them, talk to us about it. Bring that up. We could talk to that provider directly. I mean, part of our goal here is not just to help our patients understand this disease, but to help the greater medical community and just the population at large understand that we need to be doing more about it. And these biases and this misinformation has to stop, because we have to move into a place where it is accepted and encouraged to get help for your weight. So that's why we're here. That's why we exist. So don't be afraid, even if you've heard some things that you're a little worried about, to call us, ask us, email us. Bring it up in your next appointment, okay?
Yeah, that's right. And we can't, look, I wasn't taught anything in medical school about this.
Nor was I.
And so, and so I don't really fault if you have a provider that's talking very ugly about these things and giving you the wrong information, very negative information. In many cases, I don't blame them, because they don't know any better. And there was a time when I didn't know any better.
Right,
and
it's just misinformation.
Right.
It's not ill will. They haven't been educated the way we have been educated with conferences and experience.
Don't necessarily know any better, and those times are going to change. Yeah, that's right.
Yes. So moving on to Helen's question. Are there any new products or advancements worth considering since I was a patient a few years back? Thank you for your question, Helen. What would you say to that? A few years?
Well, yeah, it depends on what you mean by a few years. There's not a ton. First of all, look, in the area of medications to treat obesity, there's just not a lot of options. And I would like there to be a lot more options, but for varying reasons that are beyond my control, there are not a lot of options in the way of prescription medications. So, if you have high blood pressure, I say you have about 150 different options. And if you have obesity, you got about 3 or 4 different options. And so and if it's just been in the last 3 or 4 years, there's really not anything new. And so we have some things that are not FDA approved for obesity that we're using as adjuncts, such as, we have patients who regularly use CBD, and we have patients who regularly do lipotropic injections and really like those. But it's part of an overall plan of, nutrition, behavioral modification, exercise, and taking a medicine like Phentermine, or even a combination of medicines like Phentermine, Metformin, and topiramate. So they fit into an overall plan. They're not the central planning piece, and weren't meant to replace something like Phentermine, for example. Okay, there are some things in the pipeline that I think, if you'll pay attention to what we're doing, you're going to find that we're going to announce some things that will be coming down the pike. There is an FDA approved product that I've been involved with that, because of the COVID, hasn't been able to launch yet, and the name of that product is Plenity, Plenity. We will have that available here at some point. I sat on a board with the primary researcher who did the FDA trials for this, and it's a really neat product that can be taken alongside something like Phentermine, and it's a very, very safe product, and I think it's going to be very effective, and we'll have it here for you to use. The problem is it's manufactured in northern Italy, and in northern Italy they were hit very hard by the COVID virus. And so they've not been able to manufacture the stuff. So their manufacturing and distribution has now been delayed. And so they're looking at a 2021 timeframe sometime to get this out. We are on a list of practices that are going to roll it out first. And we're hoping sometime this fall we'll be on an advanced distribution list of about 30 practices across the country who get this medication first. And so anyway, as soon as I have some information to share with you about that, I'll be sending out a series of emails and stuff. So that will be new. Anyway, we're talking about restarting, and we want to thank you for joining us. And so we're doing the Facebook Live here in our Raleigh office. It's Monday, August the 10th, and restarting is what we're talking about. So let's go on to Gail. Gail, yes.
Yeah.
Gail.
So Gail, thank you for your question. Gail asked, what are some great tips and supplements to consider when restarting keto? I had a terrible time restarting before. I'm glad you asked this. I'm sorry you had a rough time before. We can definitely give you some tips and supplements to consider that can help. Also give us a call, come back in, let us guide you that way too. But for folks who say cycle on and off keto, sometimes they can have some issues with electrolytes or not quite getting enough of the things to help them feel their best when they're doing that. So I know in the past we've talked a lot about electrolytes, how when you are transitioning onto a ketogenic diet, whether it's for the first time or whether you did it in the past and are restarting on it, sodium, salt is very important. Magnesium is very important among others like potassium. So things like drinking broth we've talked about in the past, that's an easy one. Salting your food a little bit more. For folks who don't actually like salty things, there are things like Smart Water, Core Water, Propel, Powerade Zero, sugar-free always, but maybe they have some extra electrolytes in them. I find that can really help with the biggest barrier of becoming ketogenic, which is that drop in electrolytes that can make you feel a little bit drained or fatigued or have a headache. But then there are, other things related to the withdrawal that some people will have from sugar, right? And that's a real thing as well. So there's the side effects of coming off of sugar, which acts just like a drug in our brain, that can be a little bit hard to manage as well. And while the salt can help, sometimes there are other products that may ease with that transition, like exogenous ketones. We have a question from our viewers in the comment section. Jennifer says, my biggest problem is trying to prep my own food. Is there a line that you carry or recommend that I could order my food? Oh, it's a good question. It's a really good question. And that may even tie in, if you're interested in keto, with Gail's question, which, how can I make this transition easier? Because it's hard to restart. There are a lot of meal delivery. A lot of meal delivery. There are local ones to the Triangle of North Carolina, like Clean Eats. That is a very popular one. That is Eats with a Z on the end, not an S, and they have several locations throughout the Triangle. And then on our website, there's a resources tab, and you will find dozens more actually of either ingredient deliveries where they send you all the stuff to make it, you make it yourself, or just meal plans where you still do the shopping and the cooking, but it gives you everything that you're going to eat for the week, all the ingredients. And then there's the ready to order food, and that's what Clean Eats does. It's already a meal ready to consume. So what would you like to add to both of those questions?
Well, I really am in agreement with all of your answers. I have nothing to add to about the meal preparation. That is, Michelle's right on the money, and her answer was great there. I think on the supplements, again, I just find that the replacement of sodium is a big deal when you're getting into ketosis, and the magnesium. And the brand that I recommend on the magnesium for most patients is Slow Mag. 1 tablet in the morning, 1 in the evening. For the first couple of weeks, you're getting back into ketosis. So it gets available at every pharmacy, and and on Amazon. It's anywhere, depending on where you get it, from $14 to $16 for a bottle of 60 tabs. I like that brand versus I would not just go get over-the-counter magnesium oxide. That'll give you diarrhea. So Slow Mag is magnesium chloride, and it is combined with some calcium to slow down its transition through your intestines so that you absorb all of it. And having gone through that process multiple times myself, I found it to be very helpful.
Yes. And I'll add, the Slow Mag is fantastic. I do have a good number of patients that they do want more help with their constipation, and the product that I really like, potentially even in addition to Slow Mag. So take your Slow Mag in the morning, and then a powdered magnesium called Natural Calm, or relieving constipation, but in appropriate doses. Not a really, really helpful product for folks as well, because it's called Natural Calm. Also because magnesium helps with sleep and with stress. So the Natural Calm product is available over the counter, places like GNC and Vitamin Shop and Amazon and Whole Foods. So that along with the Slow Mag and then salt, I think is going to be your best bet for sure to not have such a terrible time restarting, Gail.
Okay, Kiana says she had a baby 4 months ago. Can she get back on appetite suppressant? If you're not breastfeeding, yes. If you're breastfeeding, you got to wait till you stop. That's the bottom line there. Then Lita, fitness trainer, lost 20 pounds, can't seem to lose any more. What else should I consider? Well, exercise alone won't do the trick, right?
Yeah, sounds like you realize that, Lita, which is a very frustrating realization for many of us, because we're told, just exercise more, more, it'll be fine. But as a fitness trainer yourself, you understand that you can exercise all you want, but that is typically not how you're going to get the weight off and feel your best.
That's right. So it's going to take some diet, and if you need If you're having a hard time losing weight with diet and exercise, then you need to add a medication, and that's why we're here.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly.
I'd be glad to help you with that. And then Cindy.
Yeah. So Cindy says this year she went into full menopause, and she's let her weight come back. Are there any supplements to help? Well, first, real quick, I'm big on wording. I'm big on more like flipping negatives into positives. I don't know whether I would say that you let your weight come back. Menopause is a serious hormonal shift. It's not a choice, right? We, as women, we go through these huge shifts in puberty and then fertility and pregnancy and postpartum and whatnot. And that is not something that you have control over. So I would
be nice if you did.
Yeah, it would be nice if you did. But I would encourage you to say, you've gone through menopause, and so you've struggled more with your weight, because that is what's happening. And almost every woman that I know in my family and friends and patients struggles with their weight due to menopause. So I promise you are not alone, not alone. So as far as supplements to help, we talked about medications and of course good dietary plans, but I do recommend a supplement a lot. It's called maca, and it's MACA. So maca is an adaptogenic herb. It's a root, actually. So we've talked about ashwagandha before, sort of in the same realm. It is something that can really help naturally with supporting female hormones and the symptoms that can come with menopause, like the hot flashes and the trouble sleeping and the sweats and whatnot. So that's something to consider. From a pharmaceutical standpoint, though, something else we've talked about a lot is metformin. And metformin is very unique. It's a pharmaceutical agent, but it comes from a plant, and it is so wonderful at regulating insulin, which is also a hormone, and all the hormones are tied together. There's never one hormone in isolation. Like when one hormone changes in the body, it has a cascade effect on all of the other ones. So when menopause happens and we have this drop in estrogen and this drop in progesterone, we usually have a decrease in our insulin sensitivity and an increase in insulin resistance. And metformin is an insulin sensitizer. It helps our cells use insulin and process sugar more appropriately. So I have almost all of my menopausal women, I feel like, in the practice on metformin.
Yeah, I agree with those statements. And I would just emphasize that the thing that you need to realize, the physiology that you're fighting is one of insulin resistance. This is the thing that's happening as you approach menopause and go into menopause. And so your ingestion from a diet standpoint of carbohydrate becomes critical. You have to control it. There was a movie called That Was Then, This Is Now. And this is right here. Okay, the things that you use days aren't coming back. Okay, you have to be very, very careful, and you have to think critically and conduct yourself in this manner around food. Okay, watch the carbohydrate intake. So thanks for watching. We are open. We're happy to help you. We're here to help you. We'd love to see you at the office. And our website is Simonds Metabolic, www.simonsmetabolics.com. Anything else you'd like to add?
Thank you so much for your questions. Keep them coming. This is great. We'll do another one in 2 weeks. So we will see you then. Have a wonderful week. Stay cool.
Yeah. All right. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.